tonight, prior to us knowing that we had the girls softball coming, we had a public hearing regarding an annexation. Should be just a routine matter. Wouldn't expect it to take no more than 10 minutes. If we have to have that, we close it out, and then we'll open the council meeting. And y'all will be one of our first things on the agenda tonight, so y'all will be out of here pretty quickly. Unfortunately, we do have to do a few things that are required to open the meeting properly and get going from there. So if y'all will bear with us just for a minute, like I said, we had already had this set long before we knew we were going to get to congratulate y'all on the season that you had. So with that being said, I'd like to call the public hearing to order. And this is in reference to property located on the west side of I-65 in the Satsuma Oaks area. George, would you like to give the description of the property, exact location, and property owner's name? Do you have that you can forward?
8550.
8550 Boys Lane.
Okay, and the property owner is?
Trinity. I think it's listed under Trinity Harville and Caitlin Hudson.
Okay, are either one of those the property owners here regarding the annexation?
I'm here for 8550. That road, all those lots on that road are addressed as 8550. They have a alpha number behind them.
Right.
Are we talking about annexing just one particular parcel of that? Do we know which lot it is, A, B?
But only the property owner can only request what they own to be annexed. They cannot request it for anyone else. So that would be the only property affected by this annexation. And you're right, so whatever, we need to have the letter of what exactly is being annexed with that.
On her deed, it's just 8550.
Okay.
And I did get a couple calls about it being labeled AB. But on their deed, it's
About the entire road or just one parcel?
just one.
Is it on the corner or is it down the road? Thanks.
Let me pull the map up.
It references Exhibit A, but I don't, is Exhibit A in the packet? Of the things you sent out for email? Exhibit A is in there?
Should have been.
Every other page was blank. Was it supposed to be like that?
It may be showing up like that because the document's so big on your phone.
Did you get it in Exhibit A?
No, it's reading, I'm looking here to see.
I'm gonna pass these down.
Well, Russell, with the property owner not being here, and you apparently are the only person that's here to speak for it tonight, do you have any questions you would like to ask or put on the record that you can have tonight?
From what I'm hearing now, Mr. Barlow, the only question I had was we talking about annexing the entire road or just
No.
one parcel of it? And if we're talking about one parcel, is that parcel on the west end of the road, which would be on the corner of the service road extension? How about
Okay, I know one corner of that's, I think, has already been annexed in. We've actually annexed several parcels through the area.
If you want to come look at it. And I think one or two more's already been.
Yeah, we have.
I think annexed already, so. I think that's the one in question.
Okay.
And I think it's can't see that map, but I think it's two properties touching.
You're here also,
Right here already.
Pardon?
Yes.
okay, would y'all, that's what we just asked for y'all, the property owner to step forward. So if y'all would like to come forward and give your name and the exact address of it, that would be very helpful. Okay? Okay.
Trent Harville, he's the owner listed, and it's 8550 Boys Lane.
A, B, C,
The tax records do not specify whether it's A, B, C, or D.
what's your mailbox?
The mailbox is at the end of the road. There are none on.
Right, they're all on the
Address
service
is on-
road.
Right, yeah,
Have a A or B on it?
not yet, no, sir.
deed is just 8550.
That's on the corner, I'm trying to get my.
When you turn down Louis Lane, it's the,
Fourth lot on the left. Okay.
and there is a parcel that is past us that is already annexed in. It's the Griffin's property.
Right, we've had several that want to come in, and we've had several that didn't want to come in. We just got to make sure it's
Yeah, we got 'em
contiguous
on the
with the
corner.
city.
That's just trying to figure out if it joined
Touches one that's annexed in.
Okay. I feel like we're gonna need to get the exact location of the property so we can record that, but that's all you're asking for.
Numerous maps.
Or you said you're purchasing the property now, or have you already,
It's purchased.
did you have a deed on the property from where it's at? So,
And she is, it's all been provided.
there should be no problem with annexing the property in to the city as long as it's contiguous with the city property already. And, so,
Is this a touch city property?
The long ones on y'all's map that y'all are looking at, that's the Griffin's property above that. And his backside of, I think it's your backside of your
Our back
property.
touches the side of theirs, so.
is that the new property we annexed in over there that joins it at the back? Is this the new property? This, we've already annexed here, the news?
See, I can't tell, guess this is where you come in, this is the end.
But it would be contiguous with the property at the back.
So my question would be, Mark, what will we do with the road from here to here? Are y'all gonna go in and
No, we're accepting the property into the city.
Not the road.
That's basically so their kids can play ball or go to schools and all that kind of stuff. We're not accepting the road. Now, we've actually done a little bit of work on the road in order to get the police and fire trucks down it in case of an emergency. We can do that, but we cannot legally, because we have never accepted the road.
that was my question. Put them on the island on the east, west, and south side.
It's a private drive, but yes, ma'am, I know for a fact, if you go look at the rock at the end of the road, we put that there and we trimmed it back so we could get a fire truck or something down the road if we needed to. But do you have any comments regarding the annexation, ma'am? Okay. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak regarding the annexation?
Right there, Mayor Scott.
Sorry, I'm not being rude, but if you're going to step up or speak, just for the record, we need to make sure we get a recording of your name and address for our records. You have any comment, ma'am?
Well, I got one question. They annexed into Satsuma. Right now, we're in the county. If they wanted to put a trailer on it, they can, correct?
It's not a trailer on it right now.
But
We
if,
have to offload the property.
but, something happens, they annex in, they can't replace it with another trailer, or they're gonna have to build a house.
No, ma'am, that would come into the city as R1, which is residential. It would not be a modular or a mobile home allowed after that property was annexed in. If there's one there now, it's grandfathered.
Yeah, it's not livable, it's gotta be moved on.
It can't be replaced.
Okay.
We're not trying to put a trailer on it.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Does that answer your question, ma'am? Is there anyone else here who would like to speak in reference to the annexation of this property on Boyd's Lane?
We're glad to welcome you in.
For record purposes only, George, has the property been posted? Has proper advertising listed on the Facebook page, website, and all? Has the city received any comments that need to be brought before the board tonight?
Just a couple of comments about the whole road, but he's already asked that.
Okay. Okay, one other person coming up, would you please let Mr. Rokas? I know you do. If you would, please, for our record, state your name and name.
55 Boyd Lane.
Okay.
If the city was to annex the whole road, would it take over the road as far as maintenance?
It may someday, we would not, I mean, the council may ask for the road to be brought up to some standard or give us right-of-way in order to have, where we can actually get in and work the road and all. So it would be some steps that would have to be taken.
I'm just curious, like we're maybe widen it and bring everybody's mailbox in front of their house and garbage cans in front of their house. That was one of my concerns.
I think it's something the city could certainly explore if it ever annexed all that, but right now, there's still opposition from property owners to that, so. Is there any questions from the council before we close the public hearing? Okay, well, thank you for coming forward in public hearing, and it's a public comment. We can't take an official vote or anything because we're not in session. We will reconvene here in just a moment. I appreciate you coming up, and y'all have a good evening. And you're welcome to stick around for a few minutes, okay? Taken care of. Russell, thank you for coming. Good seeing you. If there's no other comments or anything to come before the board prior to closing the public hearing, public hearing is now adjourned at 6:27. We'll reconvene at Hello, didn't mean to startle y'all again with that, but this time I am calling the regular meeting of the Satsuma City Council to order for our August the 6th, 2024 regular meeting. See, some of you are here regularly and you know what we're going to do. Some of you, this may be your first time. We always open our meetings with prayer followed by the pledge. So momentarily, I'm going to ask you to remove your hats, stand. Please turn your phones to either silent or off so that it will not disrupt the meeting once we get to going. Tonight, we're going to ask Council Member Randy Little if he will say the invocation and then the pledge to follow. Thank you. Please stand. Randy.
Oh, we thank you for this evening you've given us. We just thank you for the ones that are here. We just ask your blessings on our meeting this evening, Father. We just pray for our upcoming school year. Bunch of kids here tonight. We just pray for them and everybody involved, Lord, that they'll have a safe year. We just pray that you help us to make good decisions tonight, Father. We just ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Moving on to the roll call. Jessica, would you please give us a roll call?
Councilmember Little,
Present.
Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Skelton,
Present.
Councilmember Reese,
Present.
Councilmember Phillips,
Here.
Mayor Barlow.
Here. Please let the record reflect that all of the elected officials are here, along with yourself. Captain Moss for representing the fire department. Of course, we got Troy, as always. George, building inspector. Dennis is representing both Public Works and Parks tonight. And our attorney was stuck out of town due to the hurricane in North Carolina, and so we have, would you like to?
Aaron Hudson.
Miss Erin Hudson is sitting in for Jay tonight in his absence. That being said, now we'll move on to the regular business items, and we'll get to you ladies in just a second. Approval of tonight's agenda, I think we send that to you on an email, and if there's no
I make a motion we approve as presented.
motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Skelton to approve the agenda as distributed tonight. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on. Okay, we sent the minutes out from our July the 16th, 2024 regular meeting. It's in your packet. Should have got it last night. Do we have any corrections, additions, deletions, or changes that are requested by the council? I'll entertain a motion to pass as distributed.
So moved.
Second.
This time the motion was made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Ms. Reese. Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, at this point tonight, we're going to move to recognize some young ladies who I understand did very, very good in their softball this year. So I'd like to ask the coaches if they would and to come up, and I think one was up here a moment ago, and introduce or get the coaches and maybe a parent or two that helped y'all through the season, and then we'd like to let y'all show those pictures and those trophies. Lord, they really look pretty, and if you would, we can. We're having some trouble with our audio. It is being heard live, so we know that. We already checked it. If you would, you're going to have to speak up a little bit. We actually have this on our agenda tonight to look at purchasing a new or upgrading the audio system. But we'd really like to hear y'all talk and tell us a little bit about the girls and what all the accomplishments they had, and then hopefully introduce them to us.
All right. I'm Justin Brewer. I was the head coach for the Satsuma 12U Rec All-Star team. This is Rob Constantine. He was the assistant coach. We played in 5 All-Star tournaments this year, winning 3 of the 5. We came in second in 2 of the 5. We stepped up a classification and went and tried to play a travel ball World Series, national championship. That's what the big trophy's for. So our girls went and played in the Gulf Shores over a week against 28 teams from 11 different states, and we left as the champions. So I was pretty proud of them. I will introduce them one by one. First off is Clara Brewer. Harris Garrett. Mariana Lofton. Mariana was the MVP of the whole national championship tournament. This one, defensive MVP of the national championship tournament. Sydney Cunningham. Emma Henderson. Hadley Furr. Callie Alton. Aubrianna Lofton. Ella Thomas. Alexa Lasoto. And Ellie Yarborough. And we're missing one player tonight, Presley Barber.
Would you like to hold on up front, you get them so we can get those trophies and maybe you can get a picture of them? Usually the
Hey, y'all get
council
in tight.
will stand up behind us here so they can be seen.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Here, let's put this in the middle. Here.
And on behalf of Satsuma Girls Softball, we're going to present these to the girls. It'll be hung at the park for many years to come.
Hey, some of y'all come down here in the front. Let's get 2 rows. Come on, Alexa, Ellie, y'all get.
Y'all do 2 lines, do 2, yeah. Hey, girls, let's do 2 lines away from the podium. Yeah, if y'all do 2 lines away from the podium.
Yes.
There you go.
Here, up here, here, up here.
And make sure to cut you up. Good.
Bridget, we would need to kind of center.
Yeah, get up, yeah. Hey, the girls in the front, and we're hands here, and it's on.
Very exciting.
Get y'all picture in the paper. Well, I'll just get over on the outside anyway.
Hold a smile. All right. Thank y'all.
Yes, I know.
We're not gonna be offended if y'all go off, if y'all choose to leave.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
we appreciate the new concession stand
Oh,
bathroom
yes,
in the
it's
back.
lovely, lovely.
Porta potties will get to go away, hopefully.
Yes, thank you, Lord.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
We will
Congratulations,
see y'all
girls.
now next year doing the same thing, okay?
2 years in a row, you did a 3-peat.
That's right. Bye-bye. Real proud of y'all, all of us are. Appreciate all the work y'all do.
Good to see you.
I don't think we've ever won like the whole thing. That's really good.
Especially being a rec ball league. You know.
It's pretty cool.
Being a travel ball, I wonder how many of them's our girls. We're in Satsuma. We're travel ball, you pick up kids everywhere. I was wondering how many of them might be in.
It's
business
their
that soon.
12U team.
But he said it was travel ball.
It was their all-star team from the park, and they
But
took
that's
it.
what I'm saying, if they all from here. Yeah, in other words, do they all live here in Satsuma, they pick up some other ones that they have ones. I'm just curious, it don't matter. The reason I was curious, cause we get them for the high school team.
Yeah. Probably JV at least,
Yeah,
or eighth graders playing up.
well, they, if they live here, they go, so they just come right up.
Okay, we'll come back to order now after recognizing the young ladies there. That was a very good accomplishment, representing our city very well, so we're proud of them for that. The next thing we have tonight on the agenda, we ask for visitors to come before the council. The only person who filled out the paperwork that I see that is Ms. Kendra Strength. Ms. Kendra, if you would like to please come forward just for our records, state your name and your address, and we try to keep these comments to under 5 minutes, but please go ahead and tell us your concerns.
My name is Kendra Strength. I live at 517 South Oak Drive. The questions that I had was to do with the drainage that we're dealing with in Satsuma Oaks. I know a lot of people in the city's been having drainage issues.
Yes, ma'am.
With them doing the water and the sewage, I know there's not a lot that probably can be done right now. But my concern is that my water's not flowing like it has in the past due to overgrowth in the ditches. And I spoke with Mr. Elmore. He did call me back. He come and cut some last week. And then somebody, I don't know who came, but they came this week and cut some more, but they stopped about halfway in my yard. But they're overgrown, 8 foot out by the service road, but some are like, 4 foot. And the water's just not flowing. So that was one of my concerns. If I could go back to cleaning the ditches like you did several years ago, it was routinely being done. So that is one of the concerns. The other.
Can we address each one as you go? Okay. Regarding the ditches, yes, ma'am, we have had record amounts of rainfall in June and July. It did get us behind on some of the ditches. We have been working to clean them. Actually, I went over to look at that because I saw your concerns, and we did discuss a few of those. We have the sidearm scheduled for this weekend to cut some of that area over there. Is really hard to get to with hand and all, but as wet as the ditches have been, it is causing a problem. We have recently had the vac truck out. We actually had the vac truck from the county out Friday and Saturday, blowing out multiple culverts through the city. So they are making headway. And yes, the water and sewer project, which has been going on for several months, has got, I think they refer to that as wattles in several places through there, which we have to put up for 8M regulations. It does make it difficult to cut, and when we cut over there, you can see that they have to stop because we have to leave those in place to prevent the runoff going into the drainage system. But if you've got a specific problem there in front of your house or something, I mean, I do think that we are going to make some real work over there. But it is hard to do work while they got track hose and things in the road, and we're still putting down pipe. And I think they're 70%, they said today, of the project. So, we are aware that there's going to have to be work that we're going to have to do on drainage and on the roads once they're complete. But right now, between the rain and them working there, it's very hard to do some of the road repair. And I know Saturday was over there putting some asphalt down in some of the.
Well, I stopped and talked to one of the workers this morning about the road itself.
Yes, ma'am.
They put rocks and filled in that gaping hole in the middle of Satsuma Oaks Road. They fixed some of that today,
Right.
just with shells. But the reason I was presenting this is I've talked to 2 of the people that's working out there, and he said it was problems beforehand, that they were not going to grade the ditches like they were. So before they left, I would, get the city involved to make sure that the grading of the road so that the water's flowing back like it was before gets done, whether it's the city's responsibility or their responsibility. I just wanted to make sure that y'all were aware, because the water never sits in my yard like it has been sitting since they started working on that, especially on the far end of the street where they're putting in that pumping station.
Yes, ma'am.
So that was my main questions.
Okay.
And the repaving of the road is the other question. Is there plans to repave the road after they finish?
Well, in a minute, I'm going to open this up for the council to answer that also. Yes, ma'am, anytime we do that type of work, if we tear up asphalt, our intentions are, once the job is complete and we accept it, that we will go back and do some street repair. Hopefully, that will do some resurfacing. So I don't think anybody up here was ever thinking that we would not have to be doing some road repair and repaving once the project is completed. So yes, it's certainly my hopes and to restore the road to back where it was at. But, despite some of the neighbors' complaints over there, I don't want to go spend a bunch of money on the road right now while we're still under construction. I mean, it didn't make good sense.
I understand that, and I stopped and talked to them this morning, and they said that it was y'all's responsibility, not theirs, but he fixed that big hole that they made from the trucks flying over it and asphalt flying everywhere and the asphalt falling off the road in places. They fixed some of that just with shale. So that was my main concern, because it was a safety issue. People are flying down there, and it's asphalt. Big chunks were flying out of the road, so.
Yes, ma'am. I agree, and I think all of us up here would that's looked at it. But I guess I got to compliment the contractor. The few times we've called them and asked them to help us with the road or where they're doing something or to do something, they have been responsive to our requests. So
Yes, sir. They've been very nice and done very well. I just wanted to make sure the drainage grading would be done before they left, or if the city was gonna do that, because it is already causing problems with the water flow. One of the places on the service road going underneath the interstate, they said that was state had to deal with that. So I didn't know if y'all contacted the state to fix that, because when I went by last week, there was a big tire sitting under the fencing, blocking the drainage, and the other one was not even flowing at all. And I think when Mr. Elmore came, he did something trying to get that cleaned out some. So I just didn't want to not show up tonight, because I'd addressed all this, and several of the other people in the community had asked me to come to present.
yes, ma'am, I promise you, a lot of them in the community have been calling us almost daily. Mr. Elmore did tell me that he had spoke with you and he had tried to address some of your concerns. So hopefully.
Everybody else has called back on the list. I think just sending this, got some phone calls made, so those things have been.
Well, we're trying to get the water and sewer over there and additional fire hydrants, and then hopefully we can do some road work on the roads and make other improvements. And, like I said, and all the rain we're having on top of doing a water sewer project, and then there's, I think you got 3 or 4 homes under construction over there and some people clearing lots, and
Yes, sir.
it's a little active, so,
Thank you so much.
yes, ma'am. Did the council have anything they'd like to go forward or answer on that? Hopefully we answered your question, Ms. Strength, okay? Thank you for coming tonight. That was the only person that filled out any paperwork to be on the agenda tonight, but we will open the floor up in case anybody has any request or they would like to come forward. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Crystal Seeley. I'm the homecoming sponsor at Satsuma High School. So we were coming to ask permission to have our homecoming parade. It's really early this year. It's going to be on September the 12th. It's that Thursday of homecoming week.
What was it?
It's September 12th.
Ooh,
I know.
that's really early for homecoming.
I don't think it's ever been this early since I've been doing this. So, and the game, will obviously be the next night. So.
Who are we playing for homecoming this year, I mean?
St. Michael's.
Can we pick another day to do homecoming?
Yeah, what's plan B?
I know. I don't make the schedule.
No, the city has always been willing to help all the years I've been up here to assist in any way we can with the high school, on anything, but certainly on the homecoming parade. Police and fire, y'all making notes of that to make sure that we are getting ready, not only for that night, but for that week.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that we're going to have to put on our next agenda about the curfew and the other plans that we need to go in place. You gentlemen would do that? Okay, well, we wish you well, but
Thank you.
you think y'all can beat them, don't you?
Yeah.
We hope so. Okay,
They might surprise you this year.
I hope so, Mr. Phillips.
There's 90 boys out playing.
That's great. Sports programs really seem to be doing good. Moving on, is there anyone else that would like to come before the council tonight? Okay, Mr. Jake O'Rear.
Mayor, council members, Jake O'Rear, 108 BG Street. I'm here on behalf of North Mobile County Soccer Club. I'm on the board of directors. I'm the director of referees and player development. And I sent a letter in asking for sponsorship. You got the wrong form. That was for a particular team.
Okay.
I'm asking for the park as a whole. We have, over the last 3 seasons, 252 players from Satsuma that play soccer at Creole, which makes up about 65–70% of our player population. And this past season is continuing on. We've had to up the age group to U15 since middle school done away with the middle school soccer program. So we are asking for a donation, help us out up there, trying to keep the prices lower so kids that can't afford it can actually come out and play. Fields cost a lot of money, completely volunteer-based, and we rely on donors. And a little bit of fundraisers we do, it seems like more people's donating towards schools with all their programs than they're wanting to do as much as for the youth program.
Is Creola donating any money?
I'm not sure.
I'd like to know that. I mean,
Major
it's in
Hope-
it's in their town, that's the reason
Yeah,
I'm
I agree.
asking. Yeah.
With that, you know, this park's been going for about 20 years. Major Holt started it in 2004. And we got all the way from Mount Vernon to Pritchard. We got some from Grand Bay that's come up here and played. So it's not just a one-city team. Lions Park, when we played football, Creola didn't have a team. They still came to Satsuma to play. And that's all I'm asking is, everybody says it takes a village to raise kids. We're a village. So I'm just asking for consideration on donation. And any input would be appreciated.
Are the amounts, I received a letter from Mr. O'Rear, and I told him that I'd like for him to come before the council because I knew there would be questions. And, you know, since there is a large number from Satsuma, I told him the council might be willing to make a small contribution, but I don't have any problems with us finding out what the other cities are doing and, you know, just doing something small for them to show that, I mean, if we got that many kids from Satsuma in there,
Sure.
so. Because, I mean, I don't think.
What
we
level
really
were you
have.
thinking?
Very open. Well, I mean, it's,
What's our budget look like?
I just got questions on donating money outside the city when we got our teams in the city.
but we don't have a soccer program,
I
that's all.
understand that, but, you know, but we still have all these other cities. I'm not totally against it.
I'm sure they've reached out to every community that's probably involved in the.
I've reached out to several. Our president, Jackie Amaker, she's reached out. Major Holt's reached out. So it's not a one-city thing. We're reaching out to.
When do you have to have the money by? Give us a chance to research, see what the other cities are
Yeah, that's
doing, maybe like Mount Vernon, Centronelle, Creola, and,
I know Citronelle's got their own program now. They branched off when they got enough participation from Creola. And Mount Vernon's done the same because they would start playing at Citronelle. They branched off, started their own. Now, Mount Vernon's a one-season league because all their football players play soccer in spring. Fall, they go play
So
football.
how many kids from Satsuma you say you got?
Over the last 3 seasons, we've had 252.
Playing this year?
I hadn't seen the final numbers. Registration closes this weekend.
What do you guess it's gonna be?
I'd say close to 100. Falls are usually our down season. Springs, we're almost doubled in numbers in spring. So
let's just look over those things. That's the first time I'd seen them, and then
That's
maybe
the first time they've ever asked that I know of.
make
so I
a,
mean,
decision on which one we'll do, maybe next meeting or something.
Can you let us just look at that? Would that be
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, that's
When
fine.
does your season start?
So we have evaluations this upcoming Saturday. Our first game will be September 7th.
We'll have another meeting well before
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and let us know kind of how many kids you have or anticipating being on there, and what is the age groups? I'm just curious of that.
It goes from 2 to 3-year-olds all the way up to 15-year-olds.
So 3 to 15.
We upped our age for the older league, like I said, because middle school cut their program out. So we had a bunch of kids, almost make a full middle school team, that had nowhere to go. So we upped the age group so they have somewhere to play. Since, you can't have a bunch of 7th graders playing JV against seniors.
So I don't like hearing really any opposition. We just like to
Yeah,
find
I
out what,
agree.
the other cities are doing, so. If you'll do that and give us a chance to get together or, get our information and, we'll get you something by the next meeting.
Do you know
Okay.
who pays the power bill for the lights?
I have no idea. I don't see that part of it. I would assume that
I
the
would think
city
that's
would.
a large burden.
Somebody was
itself
in here
for
a
the-
few months ago said that the parks actually had to pay rent to the city to use them lights.
I don't know.
Huh? Yes, sir. Am I right or wrong? Yes, sir. That the city doesn't fund it.
I think there's soccer. I mean,
It's
only been up
daytime.
there, I think it's a day. They start like 8:30 or 9 o'clock on Saturday mornings and play, right?
Yes. Saturday mornings, our first game start at 9 o'clock, and they usually over by 12. Now, we have some competitive teams that play at night up there, and then in the fall, the time change, we use the lights for practice. We didn't get much. I think we turned them on twice all the spring season.
Okay.
Looking forward to fall time to play on them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. O'Rear. Is there anybody else who wants to come before the council before we go into regular order of business? Okay, Mr. Wes Vickers, please step up.
Brother Phillips, to answer your question about the lights in Creola, I'm not sure if their city programs have to rent the lights, but I know that us coming from Satsuma playing baseball in Creola or practicing baseball, that we have to purchase the lights on a rental basis.
I thought I remember somebody saying that.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate everybody's time. I know everybody wants to get to business, get home to your family, so I'll try to be brief. I wanted to come on behalf of Satsuma Youth Baseball, approach the council, and first and foremost, say thank you for your contributions prior to our spring season. They helped us have a very successful spring season. We have been able to utilize our concession stands better with the donations of equipment that were made, and everything has gone a lot smoother for our park this past spring. Last time I was here, we talked about park progress and registration. Spring of '23, we were sitting at 97 players. Spring of '24, we had 120. Fall of '23, we had a registration of 53 players. We are currently at 50 registered players for fall of '24, and we still have about a week and a half of registration open. Flyers will go out to local schools as schools open for the academic year. So we're hoping to increase our fall numbers this year, year over year as well. The biggest thing I wanted to address tonight was the press boxes, removal of the press boxes at the park. I know that was a topic of conversation at the last council meeting. I don't have a whole lot to add other than the safety component for our players, our community. They're run down, they've been band-aided, they've been repaired. We've tried to barricade them, we've tried to block them off, we've repaired stairs. We've done everything we feel like we feasibly can, short of tearing them down and doing away with them. As a commercial construction project manager, I feel like the quotes that were received that I'm aware of and the prices discussed, I believe are fair prices for the work that needs to be done, most especially the electrical work that has to go into taking those out. So I did want to just say on behalf of Satsuma Youth Baseball, this would be a very important upgrade to our park, both removing them as an eyesore, but most importantly, removing them as a safety issue to our players and our community members that attend the park. I would like to also add that a lot of these things, you know, I know we have this ongoing conversation with Lions Park about upgrades and improvements. A lot of the things that we require or need for the park, and not just beautification, but safety and overall updating the facility in general, are outside of our budget capabilities. You know, we carry a little bit of money from season to season into the following seasons to be able to keep baseball going. We're doing a lot of work with the fields. We've got a good volunteer army. There's only so much we can do with limited funding and volunteer work. We've enjoyed a great relationship with the director of football. This incoming director has been a lot easier to work with as far as our experience from the park. Part of our last agreement was that they would stick to not using the infields for practice so that they weren't damaging the infields, which has been a huge help to us. It's a lot less work on us going forward to bring them back up to playing condition for the season. We're able to open concessions this fall, so this will be the first fall ball season at Lions Park that we will be able to open concessions for business, so that will help also bring in, you know, additional funding. But some of the repairs and upgrades, the fences and things like that, and especially, you know, a big item like the press boxes or repainting and re-roofing the storage building, those are just beyond our financial capability. I do want to thank you again for what you have contributed, and I wanted to, you know, kind of just give our thoughts as a park and community on removal of the press boxes. I would like to, and I tabled this last time, I would like to discuss our contract with the city. From the outgoing president to myself, it was my understanding that we were supposed to sign like a facility use agreement with the city to be able to use Lions Park. I haven't been able to obtain a copy of that agreement. We did not sign that agreement going into the spring 23 season. So I would like to, get whatever information that we need as a park to be able to sign that agreement or get back into a conversation about that agreement, because our prior conversation was the agreement being outdated for a Satsuma Youth Association that governed all sports in the city of Satsuma. And being that we've now separated into individual boards for baseball, football, and softball, I would like to see that agreement and the level of responsibility in that agreement reflect how we're currently operating. And that,
I don't know that we've ever met, and I'm over Parks and Recreation, and we do have something like that, and it is all broken out. So
yes, ma'am.
Years ago when I started, we put each of the presidents together, and we, you know, formulated this contract, and we had the attorney go through, and we put everything in it. We thought it was a comprehensive plan. So I've never met you before. So I'm Allison.
I'm Wes
Nice
Vickers.
to meet you, and you're over baseball?
Over baseball.
Okay.
Satsuma Youth Baseball.
So, and maybe I missed the meeting where you were here before, but I don't remember you presenting to the council.
You weren't present.
Okay, so this is the first time I'm not, I guess you're referring to the ice machine of what we gave you?
Ice machine and freezer.
Okay, so have you seen the Alabama power bill of the cost of the lights when you guys are using the fields?
I have been told about that power bill. And
And
that's,
how are y'all managing the lights and their usage while you're using the park? Because
Well-
I'd rather you guys get the money in the program than give it to Alabama Power. But we
absolutely.
only have so much money in a pot. And so if the lights can't be managed, we have no other choice than to pay the power bill, or you're not going to have any lights. So,
I fundamentally agree, and we have talked about Bubba and Mark, Jason, we've all talked about this. There's an ongoing conversation about the cost to turn these lights on and the power.
I can't tell you how many times I go by there though, and it's one dad and 2 kids out there with all the lights on.
I absolutely
You know,
agree.
and I firmly believe at night, if it's not a team group, they shouldn't be out there practicing just 2 or 3 people. But
Absolutely.
that happens every week.
I agree
There's a contract where you have to sign to keep the lights locked, and there's a key form that you sign that says, I will make sure that this is my responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
And so there's supposed to be locks and keys and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
So, I guess you talk to everybody else but me.
I've only been to a council meeting. I haven't talked to anyone privately. So I did try to reach you via telephone and email prior to the spring season to try to obtain a copy of this agreement and establish a conversation going forward about kind of restructuring that agreement to more align with how we currently operate. But the lights have been an ongoing conversation, especially, most especially between myself and the Director of Public Works. We, as a park, we do not turn those lights on unless we have an entire team playing or practicing. So if there's anything less than a complete team practicing or playing on those fields, it's because it's an open park that's unsecure with unsecure lights, and everybody knows where the light switch is. They, take it upon themselves. There's a group of, late teen, early 20s guys that get together and play wiffle ball, pretty regularly. There's citizens from outside of Satsuma that play travel ball that don't even play baseball in Satsuma. Some of them play in Saraland. Some of them just play travel ball in general that like to come to the park and turn the lights on and throw the ball because it's after hours. And as president of Satsuma Youth Baseball, I don't have control over that. I have suggested several times that we are made multiple suggestions toward doing something like Creola does, where we lock the lights and put them on a rental basis.
We have that, and what you're saying makes perfect sense, but if there's nobody to support the policies that we, previous council, put into place, then who's gonna hold people accountable for going up there and cutting off a light, or cutting a lock off a light, or, people making keys and passing out keys to whomever?
I believe the city of Creola handles theirs through town hall and the police department. So
And that makes sense.
when we have to rent lights in Creola for practice, we have to go, we have to fill out a piece of paperwork with City Hall.
Jessica has one of those.
What do they charge
So
you to
she
rent?
does,
How much is the rent?
you do have one of those
$25
forms.
an hour.
So, yes, we have a policy where if you, and there's should have been signs on the fence at each of the fields that say these fields are for team youth league only. Anybody outside, please call city. I'm sure you've seen it like tucked away in a dugout.
No, there's signs currently on the fence, and in fact, Mr. Dennis and I had to reference one of those signs because there was a resident of Satsuma that, without obtaining city permission or without asking the baseball program, was having a birthday party on one of the fields. And I had a coach call me. I'm in Mobile at my job or on my way home. I've got a baseball coach calling me saying, hey, we're supposed to be practicing on this field, and this field is in use. What do you know about it? Thinking maybe we had double scheduled something. Not being here, Dennis being closer than myself, I called Dennis, and that's what I've been instructed to do as president of the baseball park, is to get the parks coordinator involved. Dennis came up shortly after Dennis got there. I arrived, and we had the same conversation. You had to walk past a sign that said this is for Satsuma Youth Baseball only. But it's not just guys coming up there to play catch with their kid. We've got a guy with a metal detector out digging the outfield up of the field.
One problem is you got all these rules but no bite.
Absolutely.
Violate the rule, there's no
That's what I'm saying.
penalty for it. There needs to
I've
be an
asked-
ordinance
I've
created
asked
where
the-
there's a fine that can be put in place when that happens.
Well, there's even supposed to be stickers on next to the locks on the breakers that say we put a city ordinance.
But we don't have no bite to it, is what I'm saying.
I've asked the police department to do that years ago
I'm talking about
and
put
said,
put a fine on it, we do that, the council.
Well, somebody's gotta
We
write a
can-
ticket to somebody that's up there, and I'm hoping if we have cameras there, then we can actually
But
see
they
who.
can't write
We're
the
gonna discuss some things later on tonight. If you've been up there at night to see these, have y'all notified the police? I mean, because every time they call, somebody calls here. If they haven't paid or
have
done
not.
it, I don't.
What he's
I'm telling you,
saying-
I've denied every single one of these requests that's come up to us. If
Right.
it's not one of our approved teams, you know, and I try to leave here every single night and go.
There's three guys up here playing tonight on this field. I made phone calls, but there's nothing, no penalty to do it. So people go keep doing it, because all you go tell them is you can't do that and they leave. If there's $100 fine to it, you'll quit seeing that.
I don't know what the solution is. I'm only responsible for
Stop, Mr.
governing
Attorney.
Satsuma youth baseball.
You are, and you're doing a good job, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
I
It's not
appreciate
your
that.
responsibility. If you go up and find these people that are not members of an organization playing, would you please notify the police department?
I can do
And would
that.
you please make sure that there is a written report detailing what y'all did, if you go and have that?
Prior to Mr. McCann coming on to the city of Satsuma as Parks Coordinator, I had been contacting Travis Jones as Director of Public Works anytime the lights were on, and it was somebody that I knew was not affiliated with Satsuma Youth Baseball or the softball program. We have also shared fields with softball when they're kind of overbooked, and we've also let the middle school and high school teams practice and play at our park. But anything outside of that, like I say, prior to Mr. McCann becoming involved with the city, I was letting Travis know. Now that Dennis is involved, anytime something like that takes place, I've been letting him know. But going forward, I will call Satsuma PD.
Okay. Like I said, we appreciate you coming forward tonight, Mr. Vickers. Thank you. I think what you said is
Thank
good.
you all. Thank you for your time.
I know your original request was about the press boxes. And yes, I would like to see those taken down, but I want to see where we are as far as the budget,
Understood.
because we just can't spend money that we don't have.
It's
And
a
we got the
safety
money.
item, though.
We got
need
the
try
money to do
find the
that.
money.
And most of us up here know that, but
It was my understanding that we had an American Relief Grant for the city, and that everything was coming out of general fund to be reimbursed by that grant. And I don't watch every council meeting. I don't attend every council meeting, so I'm just seeing bits and pieces. I don't know where the money comes from. I don't know I don't think the children and their safety care where the money comes from. I understand money doesn't grow on trees. So I'm not asking for a handout. We've worked very diligently to show effort and due diligence on our behalf. And if the city can find the funds to make that happen, I think it would be in the best interest of the park. I think it would drive future registration, and I think it would benefit. I think it would benefit cosmetically from just not having an eyesore. It's already hard enough competing with the land and everybody wanting, the new flashy stuff. We're just
Right.
trying to keep the little ballpark that could alive, so we don't have to go to a neighboring community to play
Right.
baseball.
yeah, I agree with you. Have our kids have to go to Saraland to play, huh?
Absolutely. I don't have a card on me.
If you'll email me or send me a message, you can text or call or whatever, and then, if I can get your email address, then I will send you the documents and stuff
Okay.
that we were talking about, so you can kind of see what the city's responsibility is in the youth association, et cetera.
That sounds great. I appreciate your time, and if there's anything I can do or that we can do as Satsuma Youth Baseball on behalf of the city to help secure the lights or help secure the park, other than reporting people using it that aren't supposed to be, don't hesitate, any one of you at any time, to reach out. We'd love to support the city and help you guys help us, and onward and upward.
The season starts in September?
Our fall season will start third week of August. Practicing will start games about middle of September. So it depends on where registration falls out. We have to have a minimum number of games to maintain our charter. But we try to finish up second week of November, kind of give everybody a break going into the Thanksgiving holiday.
And obviously, we wouldn't want construction going on while the kids were there, so I was just trying to get your timeline.
No, we were really hoping to get that done between All-Stars ending and fall beginning.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate goal with Public Works and Dennis and myself.
Sure.
Yeah, that was kind of what I thought too.
So
Thank
the,
you.
we will have a break. We will have a break between the second week of November and, say, the first week of February.
Okay.
So, and if there's anything we can do, like I say, we have a small army of volunteers. If there's anything we can do on our behalf, we would love to participate in any way we can and support you guys in supporting us.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vickers.
Thank y'all.
Anyone else to come before the council before we go into regular order business? If not, reports, announcements from the mayor and council. I'll start from the mayor's office. We've had several deaths here in our families that experienced death since our last council meeting. I know, like, one was very active in the library for a number of years, Miss Rosemary Fuller, who passed away on the 20th. Also, the Wainwright family, Miss Helen Whiting. Jason, I think you've had some family members, Mr. Hogan Camp, longtime resident of Satsuma and worked for the power company for a number of years. And, Rudy Jenkins over on Oak Street passed away, Miss Norma Blocker, and also Mr. Donald Blacken has passed away since our last meeting. So I'd like to express condolences to those families. Along that same line, our next meeting, 2 weeks from tonight, we are having the unveiling of the plaques over here and also 2 proclamations for former elected, one former elected official, former city clerk, and a couple of people who were very instrumental in Satsuma years ago, Miss Mary Pierce and Mr. Curtis Heathcote. So we're going to set that for 6 p.m. So y'all make sure that that's on your calendar for the next meeting. Also in your packet tonight, you do have the calendar for the month of August. Make sure you have all of that. I'm sure y'all have received calls regarding flooding with the rains that we had in July. We had numerous complaints. I did have Robbie Strom from Goodwin Mills in Kaywood. We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago. We had James Elmore in attendance. We went and looked at some of the roads and areas that were having complaints. Apparently the city did a study some years ago, and they paid Goodwin Mills and Kaywood to make some recommendations, probably for financial reasons. I don't think the city was able to implement all of those plans, so we went and looked at some of the ditches, mainly around Timberland, U Street, Orchard, Bayou, over off of Arrow. And so y'all know what we're dealing with. Some of those ditches are so overgrown that they couldn't fly them or anything and see what exactly might need to be done. We're trying to put together something now. I have been working with a contractor just to look at, see what it might cost to go in and clean some of those ditches, because I just don't think we have the machinery to do it. And I think it would be easier for us to contract that out. And Robbie said he really didn't feel like he could give us any good information until we can get some of those ditches cleaned, because they're so thick. Years and years ago, we did do some ditch cleaning over that way, but obviously it's overgrown right now, and we just can't see some of that. So if any of you have any input in that or any thoughts you would like to have, please let me know or send an email or whatever you'd like to do to let us know. But I do think we need to make some type of a effort, and we don't have the manpower or the equipment to do some of that work that needs to be done, I don't think. So if y'all don't have any objection, I'm going to continue to pursue seeing what we can do to get that work going. We have got another list a couple of days ago for a public works supervisor. We have not been able to schedule any interviews at this point since just getting the second list. We have advertised for the position. We've had some calls from some people who I think are looking at it, but just for your update, I don't have anybody that I think we're fixing to offer, but if any of you have anybody that you know of that would be interested in a position that possess any of those skills, certainly be interested. Do any of y'all have any comment on that or any? All right, if no comment, we do have some new signs that are ordered to go up on the roads of Thomas and Powers that was recently paved. We are going to try to put a radar or two sign up on those roads. Troy's been working with Public Works to get those ordered, and we'll let you know when those come in. Once again, I'd like to remind you that the Condo Association on Steel Creek is working to put together a boat parade, which will be on the night of our Christmas parade, December the 12th. They're wanting to do just Gunnison, Steel Creek. Hopefully it will, the weather will cooperate and it will be a success. Our physical year, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Our parade's the 7th.
7th. It'd be that night.
You said the 12th.
I'm sorry, the 12th. 12/7, I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Thank you for
Sorry
that.
about that.
No problem. The physical year is coming to an end. We have been working with the department heads in order to get budget preparation and planning underway for the upcoming year. Would like to remind everyone that school is starting in Satsuma here Thursday, so all the cities, please use caution. We are prepared for traffic and everything, so we'll have additional manpower on the remainder of the week, the new school times. Thank you. Okay. Our last meeting, Mr. Skelton, I think, asked for some update on the projects we've been working on, and where we're at, and what we've spent. So, kind of looking over some of these, Jason, and certainly Mr. Little, Mr. Butler, Ms. Reese, Mr. Phillips, y'all have any questions, stop me. 3rd Street drainage, we bid that out. It came in under bid at $162,089. We had a change order, if y'all remember, when we found out that the water line wasn't where we thought it was. We had to make a $22,000 change order, and it actually put the cost of the project back up about where we had estimated the price to be. So that was $188,217.17. Engineering firm on that was Goodwin Mills and Kaywood. P.L. Russell was the contractor. Y'all have any discussion on that one? Next, going down is listed under various street projects. We paved the dirt portion of 6th Street, which included another culvert and some drainage work going in along 6th Street, moving the water. Bayou Avenue West, the portion that was not resurfaced under the last pay-as-you-go was paved, and the dirt road portion of 3rd Street was paved. That cost was $178,192.44. You got your engineering cost. The account it was paid for was out of road paving. Paid some of the engineering out of general. The asphalt and paving was 4 and 5 cents. Civil Southeast was our engineering firm. Pine City was the paving. Next big project we got into was the replacement of the library windows, which, as you know, we discussed several times. We got into it. There was some rot around the windows that had to be replaced. That cost of that job was $34,000. There's no engineering or other costs. That was Joe Tarver Construction. Just last week, we repaved the 3rd Avenue from just north of Willie Crook, near Jones Avenue, going to to Maple Street, and Hartley Road from Highway 43 to the Satsuma city limit. They're basically where the power lines cross, or where the Saraland pump station is at. Cost of that project was $172,662. Of that, we got $36,948 that Saraland has agreed to pay. We paid that out of 4 and 5 cent. The engineering firm was Civil Southeast. Harwell and Company was the contractor we used to do that. On Maple Street, drainage, that was the project where we had to go back in and add another culvert, and then we found out that we may have been required to have additional permits, which the city did not get. We hired Ephraim and Associates to do the environmental study, reports to the Corps of Engineers, to ADM, where we got the release. That was $4,781, paid to Ephraim and Associates. The Steel Creek addition to the decking, where some of the boaters were saying small boats, kayaks, canoes could not get in and out safely. We put a step down where the boats can dock. The cost of that was $5,760. We paid that out of the general fund. That was McElhaney Construction Company, which is the company that actually did the construction of the upgrades at Steel Creek. Some of the others are going into Wright Park, the restrooms and concession area. We're looking at an approximate cost of $60,000. We've paid to date $31,000. We paid that out of American Rescue Fund to Joe Charver Construction. City Hall painting, chairs, carpet was $18,770.88. We paid that out of the corrections account, since we do hold court here and we do have a sale here in the City Hall. Contractors were CertaPro and United Flooring. Trash ramp project, we did the addition down there. We've paid $59,200 on that. We paid that out of the trash and garbage. Larry Johns Construction of Saraland did that. Our sidewalk projects, we got it today that they have finished the work. They are now moving to the punch list, and we will have completed the sidewalks on Gilbert, Jeanette, tie into on Powers, and over on Bond Drive West and in front of the other park. They start the punch list tomorrow. That was an 80-20 grant that we received from AlDOT. Engineering firm was Civil Southeast. SC Stagner Construction, Saraland is doing the job. We have another job that is scheduled to start next week of resurfacing Baldwin Street, along with various railroad crossings, Baldwin Street, Oak, Baker, Plateau, Orange. That was by Driven Engineering. The contractor who's scheduled to start it is HCL out of Sims, Alabama. We have used the RC&D grant for the Ladies Club and for the community garden. We got a Firehouse Subs grant for $34,868, which is what we paid for a lot of the fire expenses that you've seen come through. Also $80,000 for the SCBA's. Fire captain is here if you got any of those questions you'd like to ask on what we bought or the vendors that we used. 5310 grant money is what we received toward the van. The cost of the van was $131,441, of which the city's part was $36,945. We also got a second van that we use for our mainly transportation of those that need special type transportation, wheelchairs, walkers, and other things for doctors, dialysis, etc. Cost of that van was $68,642, of which the city had to pay $13,287. Thomas and Powers resurfacing was Mobile County Pay-As-You-Go program of $231,000. They have not gave final on that. They're still working on one engineering spot that has water standing. Obviously, y'all have seen the AlDOT project going on Highway 43. That was a $3.4 million project that is also coming to an end. And I know a lot of people are asking about the resetting of the traffic lights and all, which I've been told will be done as soon as completion of the project is over. The water sewer project, which has caused a lot of calls in the Satsuma Oaks and I-65 service road. They gave me a 70% complete on that project today. They still think that they will be through with it, weather permitting, by October the 1st. There will be some expense to the city, although I think it'll be minimal for what we're getting. And that's all being handled by the water board over there. We haven't asked the city for any contribution or anything toward that. Would like to make sure that you know that there's also an AT&T upgrade, fiber optics upgrade going on in the city, which has got a lot of questions about all the flagging and the other painting and all that's been on the roads. Y'all may have seen that.
Is there a map anywhere showing where all they're gonna go?
They're doing it in different spots. They did do the larger part in the heavily populated area around Bonds and all, but there's going to be multiple smaller permits, I think they're talking about, in doing the other parts in smaller phases throughout the rest of the
Is
city.
there anything laid out that shows where all this is?
As they get a permit for a section, they'll give me a map of that section.
Okay.
I can pass that along from here.
I get asked all the time about that. See, I don't know where they would put it.
It won't go to the whole city. There's still areas of the city that are remote, but they've been told that they intend to make that for almost all of the city, especially where we do have more dense
Well, is
populations.
this part of the money where the state of Alabama's doing the broadband?
No, this is AT&T project. I don't think it has anything to do with that. Nothing I know of to do with that.
I mean, I heard Alabama Power Company was putting in the cable. Is that true? And so y'all go rent the cable. Y'all go rent the cables to them.
But AT&T's the one that trucks has been in the subdivisions, right? So, I mean, y'all not getting off the main lines. And the last thing that I know of that we had mentioned a while back that we have done since that is, how many AEDs have we bought throughout the city? So we have put AEDs in our city buildings now, and I was very proud of that. Real proud of all of these projects, and I've got a couple more that I will recommend later on tonight as we go, but I think checked on when we were having pre-council and workshops. They've been mentioned, and almost all of these projects have been mentioned, some of them multiple meetings in a row. But I would like to make sure that if there's anything we need to clear up, that we do that tonight on any of these projects. Okay. I didn't mention the Osprey grant. We did get almost $40,000. That's been at no cost to the city regarding the Clean Water Act that we have there for Steel Creek. And all this rain we've had, you may have seen that it is actually collecting some
Larry, do you
trash.
think it'd be possible to apply for a second grant to put on the Gunnison side up near the interstate somewhere? Because there's a lot of trash comes down Gunnison, and I thought about that.
Okay. You know, that's, not sure exactly where you'd want to put it. I mean, that'd be something joint with Creole or something perhaps, if
Well,
goes
the
the other side of the.
waterways is really not either city.
Yeah, but we gotta connect it to the other side. So
Just
that
a
we
lot
can
of trash
funneling it
comes off
into
the
it.
bridges right there, I think, is where a lot of it comes, and it's narrow right there.
So maybe we could discuss that with them.
It's just a thought.
Okay. All right, those projects we have. And I'm hoping that the council will at least put on, if I would recommend having a workshop as the year's coming to a conclusion and we start looking at the budget for next year. Because I do think it's a good idea that we look at the insurance that we received to put a new roof on the old City Hall, the Public Works building for them. And the fence that's been knocked down, just laying down. I mean, I don't feel it's right for us to be out writing tickets and citations to other people unless leaving a fence laying on the ground. So my recommendation is that we proceed. I think it's a $10,000 deduction. And that would put a roof on that building. It would redo that fence, which not only would it benefit the Public Works and the park stuff that's there, but it also would make the park look a lot better that's there behind the old
Where
City
you
Hall.
gonna take the money from?
Well, we got several accounts, but we've discussed, I mean, I hate to go this is all the time, but the American Rescue Fund, which I've brought up several times, still has money in it, and it's supposed to be obligated before January the 1st, I understand, and either spent or under construction by the following year, so that fund looks pretty flush, and it's for buildings and things that will last, so I guess my recommendation is some of that would come out of that.
So I know that that's a place that you like to go to get money out of, but, I mean, at what point is it gonna be spent up? And I know last time you presented us with some financials, they weren't, accurate as far as where the money was gonna be taken out of. So do you have an updated, I guess, balance sheet year to date?
If you're asking for a balance sheet, yes, ma'am, I got an account sheet right here, which I had at the last meeting where I told you, shows the funds, and the American Rescue Fund was meant for projects. And I mean, if you want to do the projects, the money simply is there. It's $178,000.
I don't have a copy of that, though. I don't know that anybody up here, do you have a copy of that?
Are you talking to other council members or talking to me?
I was looking at Bubba.
Okay, we got $178,127 left in American Rescue, which could easily.
Yeah, but I wanna know what's been earmarked for that and what's been taken.
We
out
haven't
of it.
earmarked that. I mean, why do you have all these questions now? You didn't have any question when you gave away $300,000 when you made a motion up here that night to give to employees for bonuses and all. A lot of them didn't even work here. I mean, why do you have questions over
We gave
small
money to
amounts?
people that didn't work here?
Yeah, you did. You voted for it. We discussed it. Have you forgot about that? I mean, are you up here to try to solve problems or to start arguments? Because that's all it seems like you do every council meeting. What did you want to do?
Where's the sheet of the financials? That's all I'm asking for, and now you're upset.
No, you try to start an argument, and then you try to duck away from it every night that we help you.
Well, where's the information?
Just kind of like asking about the parks. You're over parks. I've never seen you in a park. I go here, I leave the City Hall and go by every night. Do you ever go to any of them? Or do you just come up here to start
Mayor,
arguments every Tuesday
I was asking
night?
for a financial sheet, and I've asked that last time also. I was
You
hoping
asked
that
where I
you'd
was
have
gonna get the
one
money from, and I clearly told you, and I told you what's in the,
where
in
you're
that
gonna
account.
get it from. I think that's a council decision. All together, we make a decision, not where your money comes from.
Making a decision on me telling you what's in the American Rescue Fund? What do you want to do with it? I've asked you over and over to do something. Do you not want to use it
You
in
would provide us
parks?
with the financials so we can see where we are and make informed decisions that would be best for the city. That's what I'm asking for. So,
Well, we have the money. You've been alluding to the fact that we haven't paid our bills, or you don't know where we're at, or you don't know what we spend the money on.
I don't know where we are at. That's why I'm asking for an updated balance, please.
Well. Ms. President, thank you. That's enough. So that's what my recommendations would be. And
What is the
Also, we can look at
recommendation?
to move forward with putting a new roof on the city hall that's got pictures there. If you'd look through, you'll see the roof is in, okay? So that needs to be done. We got a fence that's laying on the ground. I would recommend that
You wanna
I would
vote
like
on
for-
that tonight, or you wanna have a workshop?
Let's have somebody pick it up.
Bubba, we voted not to have pre-councils or workshops. I mean, I don't know what to tell you there.
I'm just asking, are you asking for a vote tonight on that, or we should go discuss it?
You can discuss it, or we can.
Workshop. I mean, it's gotta be done. I go up there and look at the Public Works building. We either gonna put a roof on it, or it's gonna fall down.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here, making recommendations. We got an upcoming budget. We didn't have it in this year, but we could take the money out of American Rescue and do the construction, putting a roof on it and the fence and some of these other things, and go ahead and obligate the money to projects on things that will be here for years to come. That's what I would recommend that we do. And possibly replacing the C&D field fencing now that we know what we're spending on the other projects. Those are my recommendations tonight for the council. Is there any questions from the council to me? Moving on to Public Services, Mr. Little.
In our building department, had 23 new permits, 34 building and trade inspections, 8 nuisance complaints. We wrote 3 citations, 77 active permits, and we've got 8 new homes being built right at this time. In the sanitation department, just some minor stuff. And then on senior services, talked about the bus and the van a little bit ago. Our bus made 15 medical trips, 3 social trips with a total of 18, and total miles 121 miles. The white van, 23 medical trips, 5 social trips, and 3 others with a total of 31, with a total of 861 miles. And our Meals on Wheels, we've got 45 clients that we service, and we delivered 945 meals. Also, over the weekend, we done a considerable amount of work down at the trash ramp. The bulldozer from the county done a lot of work across the street as far as leveling out all of the trash and all that we had, where we can make a lot more room now than what we had. Also, I was gonna ask, did we have another piece of equipment as far as, was it a track hoe maybe, or was it the road grader?
Weekend before last, we had the road grader. This past weekend, we had the vac truck.
A vacuum truck.
And the bulldozer, both working, Friday and Saturday.
Did we have anything going on as far as over on Fifth Street where we tore that home down? Is there any work going on there that you know of?
I think the lot was sold, from what I heard.
Okay,
The lot sold.
that's what, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
I didn't know if
probably-
that was us or if it sold or whatever.
I got some calls. I rode over there, and I didn't know who they were. There was a company in there doing some cleaning.
Okay. As far as a county and a track hoe, can we get a track hoe?
Yes, sir.
What would be the extent of the work that it could do? I mean, really, anything?
Traco can do various.
I mean,
projects.
where I'm getting at is, just like at the ballpark, wouldn't a track hoe tear those?
You gotta move the electrical first.
Well, I mean, I understand that, but I mean, that's,
Yeah, that's the cost.
cutting that loose from, you know, the power. Do you know, Mr. Vickers, has that been done yet as far as the power company cutting the service off? Nothing as far as, so all of that's still hooked up and, I mean, I don't know that might be a possibility for us to, you know, take care of getting that electrical and then doing something to that, of that nature. I don't know, cost effective is what I'm saying. I know that bulldozer, if it could get around there, it could take care of it pretty quick, but I know that's little different, but I think a track hoe could take care of it pretty quick, but,
Take it down, I mean, we'll have to still do away with it.
you know,
Haul it somewhere.
it seems like we could, you know, maybe handle that part of it, you know, but that's just, something I was thinking about, but might not even be an option, but.
Well, why don't we approve to move the electrical, and then we'll look at what it costs to demo it.
You know,
5650 is the,
Get the electrical part done, you know, it's,
right here.
yeah.
I don't have that quote with me, but how much was that part?
5650 is the electrical part for the 3 fields.
I mean, I just might be somewhere we can start and try to get this done or taken care of. You know, I'm for taking care of that, you know, as soon as possible.
Yeah, me too.
But that's all, Mayor.
Put it in motion.
Mr. Butler? Are you ready? Yes, sir.
All right, we have the reports for Satsuma Police Department for July. We had calls for the service. We had 662 calls. Felony cases, we had 3. Felony arrests, we had 0. Misdemeanor cases, 62. Misdemeanor arrest, 40. Traffic accidents, 15. Traffic citations, 93. Traffic warning citations, 104. Municipal ordinance citation was 4. Calls for the service for the previous month, we had 706. And calls for the service this month, last year, was 507. On the fire department for July, we had emergent medical calls, we had 48. Fire-related calls, 8. Stretch fire was 1. Wood and gas fire is nothing, 0. Motor vehicle fire, 0. Motor vehicle accidents was 8. Mutual aid given was 1. Mutual aid received, 0. And automatic aid given was Saraland was 0. Other calls, we had 18 calls for that. For hazardous materials installations was 0. And the water rescue was 0. Calls for the month of July was 84. And also, there's a man called me, and his wife needed a call with the fire department, Northam. And when they got there, the pressure was high, and the girl wanted to go to the hospital, and the fireman said, you know, this is bad. You need to go to the hospital. And after he talked with her, one of the firemen told him, you need to go. So they take them to the hospital. And she stayed there 3 days because she had more problems after that. So I think they did a good job, because if they hadn't done that more, that lady would have been worse more. But I just want to say that for the firemen. Hey, Jonathan, thank you.
Mike, where's the one mutual aid outside the city? What was that?
Do what now?
The mutual aid, you said we had one outside the city. What was that?
Right here, given
Maybe Mr.
the
Moss
one.
knows.
Yeah, that's most time, that'll be just like
What was it?
Creola.
Yeah, I know, but what was it?
I think that was an accident.
Of course, I was curious if it was a fire or an accident. you
Right.
know.
Yeah. That's all I have.
All right. Did that answer your question, Mr. Phillips?
Kinda.
Yeah,
Mr. Skelton?
I don't have anything.
Moving to Parks and Recreation, Ms. Reese?
Yes, sir. I know that we had, I know you can't hear me out there with this, but it's kind of weird. I know we talked about some plaques at the last meeting, and if we do decide to, have a plaque, I would like it to be, a plaque that dedicates the new concession stand to the ladies that joined us earlier in the meeting, with the girls softball team, the 12 and under team. I'd like to see their names listed on the plaque, to dedicate that to them and their outstanding work. So that's just my recommendation or suggestion. Also, it looks like Mr. McCann has been busy in the parks. He's given me a lot of things that, they were working on, around the area. Also, I wanted to, mention a few of the other things that we kind of tabled for the last meeting, and asking about, if the picture of the tree on Fifth Street, if this is, Miss Maben's tree, the lady that came to the meeting last time. It is not her tree. Did we go look at her tree?
That is one of the trees, I'm pretty sure.
I don't
Okay.
know which tree you're looking at. Can you,
I would. Were you able to help her with what, I know her concern was that the tree was gonna fall across and she wouldn't be able to take her husband to dialysis.
that should be, wait a second, let me see what you're looking at. We had them make pictures of it for you to look at in our packet tonight.
I see one at like Fifth and Woodland, and then one that just says Fifth, so,
Let me get to where it's at.
okay.
The one on Fifth is like straight across from her house, and this other one on Fifth and Woodland is like out in her front yard, if I'm not
This one
mistaken.
right here is
Okay.
the one that she called and complained about.
Kind of
That one
light colored, yeah,
See that?
yeah.
The road ends back up from it. That right there is down past her house. Thank you. That's the one she said if it fell,
Does
her
she
house
schedule-
is way back up here.
Okay. And then
So-
the road is up.
The
Some-
asphalt stops way back here. We were standing up back here before the asphalt. We took the picture looking there.
So you think if it fell, it would cross the driveway where she could not get out?
I'm not gonna say it ain't possible to go all, but it would have to fall perfectly in that direction because the ditch she's talking about that was so big and all, you can actually see the small part of it that runs right to the left of it if you're looking at the tree.
Okay.
Here's the small ditch, then it just kinda
I see, I
goes
saw
down.
that, yeah, okay.
And then, now the other tree here, is on Daring's tree, is on Fifth Street, I'm sorry.
Jessica, could you give us next council meeting a amount of how much we spend on cutting trees this year?
That's the Maben's home that's behind that, first picture.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to address that and make sure that we were looking into her,
Yeah, we did. We
her
went and looked
issue.
at it, and you
Okay.
see, we did trim the limbs up that she said was falling off of it.
okay.
The tree is in the right of way. We will do whatever the council wishes to do on it. I think that, we got that in our, on the topics of discussion later on to look at the cost of removing the trees if the council wishes to do so.
Okay,
Also there, just point of information, I think when we had the truck here, the vacuum truck, I think we blew out that culvert of hers that
okay, yeah, that was a
she was
concern.
talking about on both sides. I went
Okay.
over there and seen that.
Thank you. And then also, I know that's coming up, the Public Works claim. I think we were waiting on some clarification about which, there were, two statements. So did we figure out which?
Yes, since it was at one building, it's just the one deductible of 10,000.
Okay,
So he joined it in together. or
okay,
since
so
it was
it'll
at one
cover,
property.
it'll cover the fence and the roof.
Mhm.
Okay,
So we won't be able to do that for $10,000. That's just what they'll pay, correct?
That's our deductible.
That's our deductible.
No,
Yeah, the bid was like
It just cost us 10.
45,
That's right.
48,000 to do
So
both
all
of them.
we'll pay is 10.
10,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I'm
And
asking.
we were just I think the question was making sure that we had gotten,
And that's what the mayor's recommending to go ahead and do then.
yeah. We want to
I feel
protect
like
the
it's-
building, for sure.
Good deal. But yeah, both of those were
Okay.
again for later. But yes,
And then, I think that covers everything. Let me just take, oh, and the fencing, you had mentioned fencing a minute ago about, is it C and D field?
yes, ma'am.
So is that's still on hold, right?
It's on hold, but I mean, I was, only because we could only get one quote. We just recently got the second quote, so now we got two quotes, and we're looking at about $31,000 was the low quote to replace both fencing, both fences on that, and we have gotten,
I've got a Howell fencing quote for $31,038, and then the Hagen. So we did have those at the last meeting, for $30,500. But
Right.
I just, until we see those numbers, I'd like to hold off. October's coming up, so.
the only reason I was kind of pushing forward on that is we got the money, we need to get it obligated, and we had a little break in between seasons, and I thought that might be the best time to do any of the part work that we could while we don't have the kids there, but okay, whatever we want to.
And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Moving to Public Works, Mr. Phillips.
Mayor, I got a lengthy list here. The Public Works been pretty busy. They picked up paper down Hartley Scannon Way and throughout the city, cut grass throughout the city. We weed eated throughout the city, and they said that all ditches were weed eated at least one time throughout the city. Removed a tree from Daniels, limbs and Old 43 and Joe Nail, clean drain ditches on Twin Branch, Margiana, Old 43, Joe Nail West, Cherokee Park, Scannon Way, Woodland, 7th and Baker. The crews worked on both sides of the cities on the covers and ditches, cleaning them. On the service road is bush hogged on the roadside. The road grader worked on the road. Public Works went back over the road with a tractor and a box blade. They blew out covers under the service road on South Oak. Check coverts and weed eated ditches in Orchard and Cherokee Park. Blew out coverts, and I'm not gonna read all these streets, but a lot of streets. Cleaned ditches with a backhoe on Joe Nail. They repaired a sinkhole on the sidewalk in front of Robert E. Lee School. The three-way stop sign installed at Juniper and Rouse. And our inmates was increased from 8 to 10, so that's gonna help us a little bit too. In the parks, I think you've been a little shorthanded, haven't you, Dennis? Yeah. Removed hanging limbs on Aaron South Service Road. Reeves removed trees on Wright Park, 551 Bond Drive, and a dead tree in 043. Mayor, I don't see how we can keep cutting all these trees. It keeps coming up every week. That's the reason I'm curious about how much we spent this year on just trees. There was 2 loads of limestone from Sullivan, spread it over on the garbage ramp, and removed low limbs from 6th Street. That's all I got, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Okay, going into items for discussion and/or consideration. A is payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $251,218.57.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Butler, pay the bills in said amount of $251,218.57. Any questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Go ahead and show it passed. B, discussion and consideration of purchasing an ad for the Satsuma High School football team this year. We've got different prices. I'd like to know just what the pleasure of the council is on which ad. Send an email out and looking so we would have it recommendation, but we didn't get any feedback.
What did we buy last year?
The gold.
It was checked for the gold renewal at $12.50. Is that,
That's what. Mm.
What's the pleasure of the council on the purchasing of the ad?
I'll put that in form of motion.
Which ad?
12.50?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Little, purchase an ad, the gold ad, which I see the price $1,250 for the Satsuma High School football program for the upcoming football season. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
C, discussion and consideration of reducing change in rental rates for the Union Chapel. We looked at that, we'd had very few rentals, we'd had almost zero during the week, so we have made recommendations. Jessica, would you like to take forth or tell them the discussions we've had, comparisons of what we come up with?
Yeah, Morgan's been working on this. It looks like on the first set that you see Monday through Thursday, we dropped it about $400 or $500. And then we just went through and kept dropping them all $400 or $500. The cleaning fee also got dropped. That's pretty much it, unless y'all have any questions.
Thoughts on that was if we could get it renting some, perhaps it can start being used a little more, and anything we're bringing in will be better than with it sitting not renting.
Than what we're getting now.
Yes, sir, that was my thoughts on that. Spoke with the ladies' club about a reduction in their cleaning fee. They agreed to that. So,
I make the motion as it's presented and as it was worked on in these prices that's in here.
Second.
motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Skelton to reduce the rental rate and the cleaning fee. I think we have that in a resolution, or is that related? Is that later on in that 240801?
Yes, sir.
We'll readdress, so I think we'll just can vote on that one time and
That's fine.
make the changes. So we'll move on from that. As we've already discussed, discussion and consideration on D of claims for the Public Works building, basically a new roof and replacing the fencing that was knocked down in the recent storm. Been given the city's deduction is $10,000 to pay for a new roof and the placing of the fence and all that was damaged or taken down.
I'll put that in the motion.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Little to proceed with the claim that was made against the Public Works building, or that actually whole area there, on replacing the roof and the fence. Any discussion?
And we are gonna take that from the rescue funds?
We're gonna make sure that it's legal to do that, to replace something that was damaged in the storm. Can you make sure that we get okay from Jay to do that? It's our understanding, since it is a building and a structure, that will be here, and
I should have some money in my budget somewhere.
we should be fine anyway.
All right, that's all.
We'll let you know where we take it from, okay? Motion was made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Little to proceed with that work. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All right, now we're gonna move back on to the trees. E is discussion and consideration of quote received for a tree at 5717 Fifth Street. That is the big oak that looks like it's dead at the, kind of at the top.
What's the cost to remove it?
I think we have
Got some
some
bids?
bids we gotta open.
I ain't got none down here.
Do you wanna open the bids, Mr.?
Jessica can open.
Jessica, would you mind calling out the name, and
Got 'em.
it'll take her a minute to write and record it too, so.
Reed's is the one oak with no stump and haul off the debris. It's $23.50. If you add the stump, it's $125. Hamco is cut and dispose of one water oak is $770, and the grind, the stump, and dispose of excess cuttings is $200.
That's a big difference. So what's the total on Hamco's? You said 770,
Yes, so,
And did he put
$970 on
Okay.
Hamco.
that address?
and that
This is-
tree is definitely on city
Yeah,
property.
go, I mean, it's right on the road.
Or say it's city
Yes.
property.
This
Yes,
is
sir.
for the 5717 Fifth Street.
Okay.
And I'll put that in the motion to remove that tree to the low bidder.
Just those two? Second.
Motion made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Little to award the removal of that tree to the low bidder. Okay, moving on to the next one is F, consideration of quotes received for tree removal on Woodland Avenue. I think that's the one that Ms. Reese was talking about, that
We just voted?
the lady was concerned about.
Did we need to vote?
Can we vote on that one?
I thought I said all in favor of awarding the low bidder on the stump removal.
I
On
must
bid.
be asleep.
Was I asleep?
Okay, we'll call it again. Does any motion was made by Mr. Phillips and seconded by Mr. Little for the removal to the low bidder? That's all in favor. I made a check, maybe.
Aye.
Okay. It's unanimous. So it's, no. We can move now to F, discussion and consideration of quotes received for tree removal on Woodland Avenue.
Okay, one water oak, this is Reed's, no stump and haul off debris is $26.25. You add the stump, it's $125. Hamco is $2,500 to cut and dispose of the one water oak and $300 to grind the stump and dispose of the excess cuttings.
Does that stump need grinding?
I would
I
have to
wouldn't,
look
I
back at
wouldn't
the
think it
pictures.
would. I mean, well, why would?
You know, I'm not sure, I mean, it's not right side of the road, is it?
No, it's not in any road.
And it's on city property again, and dead.
I don't think it does either.
You all right, Randy?
I don't think it needs to be either.
Yeah. What I'm saying is the oak dead.
I didn't see it there. I mean, you got a picture of it in there. It looks, and you know, you can look and see,
I looked
it's
at
got a pretty good picture of it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's green to me. As green
Me
as it can
too.
be.
I mean, if the oak's not dead, why are we cutting it?
It was a request from the property owner, and there was some questions from the council. It's in the right of way. It's totally up to
Well, if
us
it's
to
not
cut it.
deemed a danger tree, then I wouldn't see that we
Well, I'm
should
getting
cut
at, if
it.
it's not dead,
No.
I mean, okay, we got oak trees all over the city sitting in the right of ways.
Is that considered, I might be looking at it wrong, but is that considered, where Woodland is going on through to the woods there?
That would be over there, kind of.
They're not dead.
I mean, it,
Swamp behind your house.
it might be, yeah, but I'm
We
just
should
saying, I
look
think
at
that
it.
roadway
Make a determination.
probably goes straight on through there. I mean, it might be sitting right in the middle of the road.
It is. Well, what Woodland would be if it
What-
actually road came
What
through
it
to the
would
highway.
be.
Right.
But it's not an open road where it's sitting, correct?
No, sir. It is not. Like I said, there's two good pictures of it right there. And it's,
Like I say, if it's not dead, I'm not in favor of cutting it.
well, I think we'd already gone over and taken a couple limbs off of it. There possibly could be a limb or two that we could take off of it and make it where it's not even any concern at all. But it's totally up to the council on how you would like for us to proceed. Y'all heard comments the same as I did.
Would James be our expert opinion of whether it needed to be removed as far as danger tree? Would we go with his expertise?
I mean, it's what he's saying is, it's in the right of way. It's a closed portion, an unopened road of woodland. If you see the woods right behind it, that's where it starts to go down kind of into the low area. It's got green leaves, you can see that, so we know that the tree's not dead, so.
Well, I've got a dead azalea and there's green leaves growing out of it, so, I mean, I don't, it's possible. Did James give his expert opinion if he thought it was a danger tree?
I can get him to
Maybe we
put
ask
something in
him.
writing, but exactly what he told me was, Mary, it's in the right of way, it's still green, it doesn't look like it's in any danger of falling or anything, but if y'all want to take it down, just let me know and I'll work with whoever y'all award the bid to. That was his comment to me.
Well, we had people on Orange bring one up that wasn't dead, it's 6 foot in diameter, and you can't see to get out the driveways, and they wouldn't cut it because it wasn't dead.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of cutting one that's not dead, like, especially like this one.
Did you say we've already cut a limb or two off of that tree?
Yes, we went over there, if you'll remember, she came up a couple of years ago and complained about some of the limbs falling.
Back
We went over.
before, so,
So we went and thought we had addressed some of the concerns that she had. All right, Mr. Skelton's already said he's not in favor of it.
Just move on.
I'm not either if it's not dead.
All right, there was no action taken on that. We will move on from that to G, consideration of quotes received for tree removal at 5239 Old Highway 43. And I think that's
Same question again.
the next one here, and that should be the last one in your picture. It's kind of turned sideways, as you can see. And I think the resident is here. And you can see that's going to be a very large tree there. There's also a picture right behind that. You can see where the road has had the
compromised there in the front.
yes, kind of where the root system is going under it into the road, it's damaging the road. Kind of across the street was the one that was dead from that we did take down, which y'all seen was in our bills tonight, from Reed. So,
Did we get quotes on that one?
Yes, Hamco cut and dispose of one large pine, $3,100. To grind the stump is $375. Reed's is $45.50, and to add the stump is $250.
I'd like James Elmore to take a closer look at that one, that's an expensive tree. If it's dead, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay,
It's on city property. It's just showing the bottom of that tree.
okay, we had trees marked in case anybody wanted to go by and look at them, so I just, on this, y'all got to tell me the pleasure of the council on how we need to proceed.
I
On
said we
that.
get James' expert opinion if it's dead or not. If James can let us know if he thinks it's a danger tree again with this one.
James is supposed to be here at 9 a.m. in the morning for a meeting. Could you be with him and go over these two trees and see if y'all can put together a recommendation and what you think? I'm talking to George.
Okay.
All right. Council chose no action on that. Again, we will try to get a little more information if y'all would like for the next meeting. Should have received an email last night that contained some of the information regarding a new garbage truck. If any of you like to talk about it, discuss that. Would cost not going with the Kenworth that we had been looking at, but moving to a Mack. had said it'd be January at the earliest before we could move to a MAC. Now he's saying we can get one in October. It could cause a little problem with the balloon note and the financing, just because it's not gonna fit in the timetable. But the truck could be worked on here at MAC, where we already have some of our trucks and we do the maintenance. I understand that's what the trash and garbage has recommended that we do. Do any of y'all, Randy, y'all have any comments, or y'all like anything on the information we've sent you'd like to talk about on that tonight?
Well, one of the biggest issues is, I mean, the price and the interest rate. He said within the next 30 days, he would keep it, and I'm missing where it's at, but I think it's 5-point-something%. If we don't act, and it's a big jump, but he's saying it's probably going to 8-point-something%. You know, you're talking about on $400-something thousand, that's a lot of money. I mean, we need to figure something out, you know, pretty quick.
I think that's just a little scare tactic, Randy. How does he
Well,
know what it's gonna be next
We
year?
can shop it if you know,
Yeah.
if you wanna.
I mean, if it drops, is they gonna change that price, or are we locked into it?
Normally, we finance the United Bank anyway. This is just his company that he goes through. So our financing will look totally different with 2 balloon payments and none of this. This is just for totals.
But do we have to lock into our interest rate now? No.
Not,
This would be a Mack truck, which we worked on right there at I-165, the local dealership. And this does not have the auger, which the last vehicle that we purchased, the last truck we did, had.
I would just, with interest rates like they are, I remember when we looked last time, I think we were in the 4.5 range, 5.5 range, so.
right.
This 5.78 through this equipment finance company is pretty impressive, in my opinion. I don't think you're gonna find that at a bank. So, I mean, I'm all at the pleasure of the council, but, if we drag our feet, we may lose out. That's all I'm trying to warn you.
And there is another, option of trading in the older truck, but you're just not gonna get very much, for that truck. And I know we're about to have to spend a little money on that truck as far as the arm, but seems to think that we should get another, couple of years out of it if we do that. So it'll be the in-between truck that's going back, so.
So is it my understanding that it's okay for us to continue to pursue the option of working to get this put together for a formal presentation on the Mack truck? And it's going to be a little more than we paid for the last one. I think it was around $554,000 or something. It's in,
Is that the cadence quote that goes with this?
so,
And this is Samsung, it's just something.
And if that can be done, I think
do
I'd
it
rather
all
do
together.
that instead of, trying to go back with the auger truck, which will be later on and
Okay.
might compromise our, the balloon payment.
I'm fine with that and us putting it together. I just wanted to make sure there was no opposition at the council before moving forward on getting this formalized up and bringing it actually for a formal proposal. Discussion and consideration of it says an investment of $2,500, but this is for the Mobile Bay National Estuary Program. I think they just want us to guarantee that, or say that we'll put that in our upcoming budget year for 24-25.
We've always passed on that.
Well, we have, but I mean, there is some benefit, because there's a lot of, the cities on this side of the bay and the other side that participate and give a lot more money than that for the clean water and all, so, I think it's really a small amount considering how much boat traffic and all we have out of Satsuma, fishing tournaments and the Delta.
Do you need a motion?
Sure.
I'll make a motion for $2,500
I'll
every
second
year.
it.
Mr. Butler's made a motion to grant the $2,500 on the program. Mr. Little has seconded his motion. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed.
Me.
Let it show that.
I didn't know that we have done this in the past.
We have them every year.
So, yeah, it's been brought up several times. I know that we didn't do it a couple of years but we voted to do it this year. J, discussion for a franchise agreement with MediaCom Southeast LLC. We did not vote. There were some questions. We had Jay do some research, write some letters regarding several questions. I think, Mr. Phillips, you had the majority of them, but we did not pass the agreement. And in order for us to work this franchise agreement out and get any of our money, we've got to pass the agreement. So, small town like us, I don't think we're going to have a lot of strength against a company like this, so it would probably be easier just to pass it and move on, but that's totally up to the council.
So y'all have reviewed it, and to your knowledge?
I believe Jay has, and I think he talked with Mark about it. I'm not even sure the questions that you guys had on it, but have those been answered, or if not, we can get those answered.
Jay said we may have to introduce it and put it in ordinance for our resolution form next week.
We're trying to force them to put cable in some other areas. Right, so, and to open those offices up here. Well, what's the council's thoughts on J, discussion consideration of a franchise agreement with MediaCom Southeast LLC?
I'm fine with it. I'll make a motion to introduce it.
All right, motion was made by Mr. Little to introduce the franchise agreement with MediaCom and have it on the agenda for the next meeting in a resolution form. Can he get a second for the motion?
Second.
Mr. Butler seconded the motion. Now we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Let it show it passed. Moving to resolutions, ordinances, orders, and other business. Resolution 2024-08-01, establish provisions for Union Chapel for the Women's Club for the city of Satsuma. The resolution should be toward the back of the book.
Is that what we did earlier? Same
Yes,
thing?
yeah.
I'll do that, since I've done the
Using
other.
the cleaning fee that they have is all it is. Motion was made by Mr. Little. Can I get a second? Second. I think we're gonna put this up for immediate adoption, so we'll probably have to suspend the rules, put said ordinance up for immediate adoption. Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Skelton. A new roll call to put up for immediate adoption.
Yes.
Councilman Little? Councilmember Butler?
Yes.
Councilmember Skelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Reese?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Barkley?
Yes. Now, with the same two, make a motion to pass said ordinance.
I'm making a motion that we pass the ordinance.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Skelton to pass said resolution 2024-08-01. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Ordinance number 557. That was the public hearing held tonight prior to just before our meeting for the annexation of the property on Boyd's Lane. I think we need to give a little greater detail on the property, the number, for us to have that. Because like they were saying, we put 8550, but that's everybody.
That's, Jay looked over everything, that's what's on their deed, and it can't be anything else.
So have that many property owners and have the one address with no
It could
You
be
know-
85-50, then the rest of them be A, B, C, D, and E.
That's what I'm saying, but that's what I feel like it should be on the,
Yeah, so that's probably what it is.
I don't know what theirs is without looking at their deeds, but his is just 8550.
Okay.
you have Jay look at that. I just don't think we can have one address that has 20 property owners and it's all, I mean, most of them I've seen before are more specific than that.
I do houses all the time that have like a house number,
Right,
another house behind it, and it had the same number with a A.
right.
There won't be no B or nothing like that.
But, right. Right, and that's. Well, I remember at 911, that was an issue with that area over there once before because of that very reason. So,
I'll have Jay look into
okay,
it.
I just feel like there's gotta be something else there to be a little more descriptive, but if we can clear that up, I guess we can go ahead and pass it tonight. Do it. So if I can get a motion,
Make the motion that we, annex, ordinance 557, annex, property located at 8550 Boyd Lane.
I second.
motion was made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Phillips to annex said property. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Okay, we have been working on some security matters around the city, and we can go into executive session for that purpose. So this concludes the meeting that's open. Y'all welcome to stick around. I know a couple of you may have a question or two. Other than that, we're going to go back in the back for just a few minutes for that discussion. So I need a motion to go into executive session, and we'll do it for approximately 20 minutes, and we will, so I need a motion.
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Phillips, that we go into executive session to discuss security matters for approximately 20 minutes. Time is 8:30. Thank you.
I gotta call roll. Oh, man. I gotta call roll. Oh, my gosh. Councilmember Little. Girl. Councilmember Butler.
Tell you.
Councilmember
I bet
Skelton.
Yes.
Councilmember Reese.
Yes?
Councilmember Phillips. Mayor Barlow.
Yes. Okay.
Mayor, did you say 20 minutes?
Go get, that's what Randy said too. Gentlemen, y'all wanna come to the back here? I'm gonna introduce y'all to a couple of people here in just a minute. We're gonna have Troy back there also.
Hey, Mark, if y'all want to vote on this afterwards, you do know that you need to come back out into
Yeah,
the city
we're not gonna
council.
vote on it tonight.
Tonight?
This is
Okay.
the first, I'll introduce, see some of this, okay? Let's see that,
Thank you.
I'll have, you know it's hot when the man child has his shirt on.
Thank you. Be careful going home.
Y'all need to top off.
Okay, so city council's back to order, 8:58 PM.
Maybe next time.
Is there any other business come before the council? Not, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second, we adjourn. Thank y'all, have a good night. Y'all try to look over some of